Good morning, Helen. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Lalita.
Wonderful. So today, as part of the series of empowering women through career transitions, I'm in conversation with Helen Jenkins. Helen, from being a lawyer, a partner with a law firm in London, moved to China to as a deputy chairman of the trustees with a college in Shanghai. Then she became the head of knowledge department at a law firm, and then worked with the Women's Foundation in Hong Kong. It doesn't quite stop there. She's currently the chairman of Advisory Board of Mission for Migrant Workers. So there you go. Helen has done diverse roles in different countries. Helen, thank you very much for giving your time to have this conversation on your transition journey with me.
Thank you for having me.
So, I know I have sort of briefly mentioned your transitions journey. If you could give us some color on what key career transitions have you gone through to get you to the success that you have achieved?
Okay, I think for a start, I think I would say transition is permanent, a permanent state of affairs for me.
Absolutely.
And I'm still transitioning into my next phase, which is my own business, but we'll come back to that. The major transitions I had, I guess, was leaving the partnership of a major international law firm to move countries, and that was driven by family reasons and partially lifestyle reasons. We wanted to return to Australia. So giving that up was quite a challenge and something I had to wrap my head around. And I guess the other transitions have all been driven by physical moves, if you like, or really just opportunities that have presented themselves, which have made me jump into the next exciting thing.
Wonderful. There have been books written on transitions. To mention a couple of them, Working Identity by Herminia Ibarra. You probably are aware of that.
I have 2 copies, bizarrely.
Yes. Fantastic. Okay, so you and I are a fan of that. As well as Transitions by William Bridges. And William Bridges talks about essentially 3 phases of transition. The ending, the in-between phase, which is the state. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of maybe even agony, maybe a lot of challenges, and then the beginning. And given that, and he also mentions that a lot of times the ending, probably a lot of us are not even aware, we discount it. And we are many times so excited because a lot of transitions sometimes we consciously choose. Other times it just lands on us. So what was the challenges that you faced in any of these transitions that you have gone through?
I think I briefly touched on the first one, leaving the partnership. Obviously, yes. that had huge financial consequences, as well as status, reputational. All of those challenges were very real to me, and then replaced with what am I going to do next? So it's the uncertainty and articulating what it is that you want to move into that will give you the same satisfaction that you had in your previous role. William Bridges actually says that you need to have that transition period to actually clear out the old decks and make way for the new. And I think I'm a huge believer in that. And to actually sit down, cold towel, work out what it is that you're good at, recognize your skill sets, and what will give you joy in the next phase, utilizing and leveraging on the things that you're good at. And not everybody knows what they're good at.
It is true. It's difficult because when you start reflecting and examining on what you're good at, a lot of times our mind probably takes us to things which we are not good at.
Particularly, I think, the female mind.
Yes, particularly for female minds, and particularly also when we have left something in which we are comfortable. As you said, we have credibility, we have reputation, and you're going into something new and you're trying to find out what is it that's going to satisfy you. So how did you, so in that journey of, I'm sure, a lot of challenges, your mind playing games with you, your fears, your internal demons coming up off and on inside, right? How did you manage through that in-between phase which William Bridges mentions? What were some of the enablers for you?
I kept very busy, and I guess the driver behind why I left in the first place was some family health problems. So that kept me very occupied looking after my mother. And after that, when she died, we moved to China. And I was still in that, gosh, what do I do next phase? But now I'm in China. I don't know anybody. It's early 2000s or early 2000s. So China was still on the brink of where it is today. And so I went and learned Chinese at university because that was the one thing I could do, which would still get me a skill, but not necessarily throw me back into the workforce. And from there, I went on to the board of one of the big international schools in China that was just setting up, which was another very interesting transition, if you like, into that education board directorship field.
So, what do you think? I mean, you said, keeping busy, learning a new language, right? What resources do you think really helped you? When I say resources, I mean external support and your own internal resources, your own inner strength, inner mindset. Examples of inner resources.
I'll start with the easy external resources first, which is a very supportive husband. Who supports me in whatever I do, but also from a practical level, being quite frank, I haven't had to work to put food on the table, which is a good and a bad thing. So one of us has always been in work, and during that first transition, he was the breadwinner while I was off having a lovely student life at university. Secondly, having a strong network. And in China, even though I arrived, I didn't know anybody. I got to working that, first of all, starting off with your community and then building that into the Australian Chamber and beyond. So building up that very strong support network. And they would be the two external resources I still rely on most heavily today.
I see. Okay.
Internally, I think resilience.
Mm-hmm.
And a belief in yourself. And that is not always easy to do. When you're looking, you're being turned down, and now, I'm at the very senior end of the spectrum. And so, I have challenges on that side of the fence as well. And so it's being able to package yourself up and being able to tell the story about why you would be the best person for any particular role that you may be going with. And I think starting my own enterprise now is probably testament to the fact that it's probably easier for me to do that than and also what I want to do rather than achieving going into a position at a senior level in another organisation.
And in terms of your having gone through transitions and something that you chose, and having obviously there are ups and downs in this journey because of what you clearly mentioned, right? When you have a position, a reputation, a credibility, you leave all of that and start something new in a new country. You don't know anybody. And I think especially a lot of women stop ourselves from wanting to do what we really want to do. We go probably to a job and, you know, think, oh my God, I better not do anything out of this because I'm not sure that I'll be successful. And I don't know how I'll be looked at by the society. So a lot of that goes on in a lot of people's minds. Not doing something for yourself, but to impress with, especially in places like Asia, it's what your business card says, right?
Exactly, yeah, it's the title, yeah.
Exactly, the face and the status quo and the prestige and all of that. And I know this because I've gone through it myself. What would be your one key message to women who want to undertake transitions or help them to do what they want to do?
That's a very good question. And I think people are different and circumstances are different. Obviously, if you have to put food on the table, that's a very different. But absent all of those very practical considerations, obviously believe in yourself. There is no magic. People think there is magic. I could never do that because I'm not. Basically, I think we can all do everything. Whether we do it well depends on how much we like doing it. Because you know, obviously, some people thrive on nitpicking through documents. Other people thrive on the the meeting people, the getting business in. So again, it's playing to your strength, because ultimately, I think your strengths are the things that you enjoy doing. But believe in yourself and don't put anything beyond your reach because you think it's not for you, or it's what other people do, or you're not qualified to do that, because ultimately your work will speak for itself.
One last question. You mentioned resilience as one of your resources, and I'm a big believer in resilience. How do you think you've built up your resilience over the years?
Again, I think it's through a series of failures and successes, and going for things, not getting things, trying again, maybe getting them, trying again, maybe not getting them. So it's that constant cycle of failures and success, or rejection and acceptance, of building your own thing, which I think builds an internal belief system in the fact that ultimately things will come out. And also, I'm a bit of a fatalist, so I think if it's for me, it won't go past me, as the Irish say. So if it doesn't happen, it's not meant to be, and ultimately something better is waiting for me in the wings. So it's that wonderful belief that things will turn out the way they are supposed to, which helps me get through the parts in my life where it hasn't gone according to plan. And we all have those.
Indeed, we all have those. Is there anything else you would like to add as a concluding remark before we end this conversation?
I think transition means change, and change is a wonderful thing. And there are people who are lucky, who always knew they wanted to be a heart surgeon and who follow that path their whole life. But not many of us have that. Not many of us have the passion that we're all told to follow. And so I certainly don't. And so for people like that, I think be open to change, embrace it. The thrill of learning something new is one of the things that keeps me going. So that would be one of the key messages I would like to impart.
Thank you so much, Helen. It was wonderful speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalita. I really enjoyed it. Nice talking to you.